Students, is the audio clear? Please respond in the chat box. Someone? Are you able to see the presentation also? Is the audio clear? Okay. People, is it audio clear and you can see the presentation in YouTube? Those who are watching in the YouTube, please let us know in the chat box there. Is the audio clear in YouTube? Okay. We'll start the class in a couple of minutes. Thank you. Sir, welcome.
కంట్రోల్ చేయండి అక్కడ క్వశ్చన్స్ ఏమవుతాయి చాట్ బాక్స్ చాట్ క్లిక్ చేయాలి. క్లిక్ చేసిన తర్వాత ఇది క్లిక్ చేయాలి కదా లెక్చర్ అయిపోయిన తర్వాత క్వశ్చన్స్ తర్వాత So whatever is visible on the screen, it is being recorded and on YouTube also. So how to do that? Close the presentation. Permission, sir. Good afternoon, my dear students. Welcome back for your IPR class. Hope with this class all your theory classes will be over. Thereafter you will be having 3 more classes, on the practical aspects of IP searching tools. So if you wanted to do analysis of your IP, whether it is the novel, whether there is an inventive step, whether it is useful to the industry or industrial application, if you wanted to do all these things, you need to use some tools, software tools or databases through which one can do the assessment of or patentability assessment. So if you wanted to do that patentability, or in case of patents, in case of trademarks, in case of designs, whether they are meeting the assessment criteria for getting rights on them or not, generally we will come to know by using those techniques, the patent search, the trademark search, the design search, or the copyright search. So we are going to have 3 more lectures from the eminent industry experts in the subsequent week. So with that, we will be completing this IPR course. So I urge all the students, whoever has got any doubt, people who have missed some classes, you can always contact me or my colleagues Raviteja or Anandya Roy Chaudhary. We will be able to clarify your doubts. As you all know, this subject of intellectual property rights is very, very important subject, and all of you should have the minimum communicable language, or you should understand all the concepts of IP. As you all know that in the emerging knowledge economy, IPR or IP plays very, very important role, because whatever we are using in our day-to-day life, you name anything, any product, they are all embedded with intellectual property. Intellectual property means someone has done a research and invented that product or that process or that technology, and someone is marketing, producing and selling it in the market. So we are all buying. In that process, whoever has invented, whoever has developed the technology, governments across the globe have started giving rights to them. The way we get rights on our movable and immovable assets, the same way the knowledge what you create as by doing research and development, one can also get similar kind of rights the way we get on the movable and immovable assets. They're all called tangible assets. The knowledge creation, the knowledge what we are creating as a part of our research, it is called an intangible asset. So intangible assets are now can also be valued. You can also mortgage them, you can also sell them, you can also license them. The way, we deal the tangible assets like land, building, gold, vehicles, the same kind of rights we can get from the intangible assets like intellectual property rights. Let us try to understand. There are two concepts in this my title. One is IP, other one is management. So you should understand the basic definitions of these two terminology. IP means we all know that there are actually this class is also like a kind of a revision for you for your examinations. I will be again summarizing some of these important concepts for your understanding and clarity. So IP means we all know that the World Intellectual Property Organization, which is a global UN organization, which basically directs or develops the content, the process, the methodologies, in the area of intellectual property. So as per the World Intellectual Property Organization, IP means these are all the creations of the mind. So whatever you create new knowledge, new processes, new technologies, using your brain or your brain power or your creativity, or your thought process, they are all called intellectual property rights. There are different types of intellectual property rights. One is industrial property, other one is a copyright. These are the two types of intellectual property. What are those two types? One is industrial property, the other one is the copyright. Again, industrial property has been divided into another 8 types of intellectual property rights. So what are those things? We are going to also see in subsequent my talk. Coming to the management, what do you mean by management? Management means, I think our mothers are the best people, to manage the house, the family, So what they do in their day-to-day routines is nothing but management. In fact, the mothers are the best managers in the world. Take any country for that matter. No, the mothers understand the problems, the challenges, the constraints what today's no managers are facing. There are nothing new to the mothers who manages the house, who manages the family. The same. They're all managing the things at the micro level. No, but all the companies and all they do management at the macro level. So that is why for any problem, any challenge, mothers or the grandmothers, they are experts in giving such kind of a solutions to a given problem. But if you look at the textbook definition of a management, management can be defined as a process of getting the work, or the task done that is required for achieving the goals of an organization in an efficient and an effective manner. No, that is the definition of a management. You see, every organization has got a goal or a mission, or an objective, what they're supposed to achieve, for their sustainable growth and development. So what they're supposed to do, it all is nothing but a management. So management is a process of what are activities involved. Management is a process of planning. You need to plan, you need to take decisions. What is the objective? What is the goal of a mother? After all, it is for the well-being of the family, raising the children, keeping the husband and children happy, and they do a good contribution to the work what they are doing. Whatever their profession, they should contribute well to the organizations. That is how, as a nation, we all build and develop. So, management is nothing but is a process of planning, scheduling, controlling, designing. They are all what we call in the modern terminology strategic management. Strategic means that is very, very important for our growth and existence. That's why it's called a strategic management. So we understood very clearly that now IP and management. So whatever IP you are creating, as a research scholar, as a faculty member, as a student, as an organization member, whatever new knowledge you are trying to create, that is what we all called IP. Now, when it becomes IPR, once you get protection from the government, once you inform to the government, disclose to the government, saying that I have invented this new process, new product, or new technology, and I want rights to be granted on my new knowledge. So government also examines that knowledge, with reference to the three criteria you are all aware. If you want to get, for example, a patent, it should have three criteria. It should fulfill that three criteria. What is the criteria? Novelty. Remember that these are all examination point of view. I'm telling all these things. Examination also will have all these questions in your question paper. Now, what is the patentability criteria? It has to fulfill three criteria if you want to get a patent for your new knowledge. What is that criteria? Novelty, inventive step, and industrial use. They grant the patent. If they're not satisfied, they will raise the doubts and questions. You need to answer them, you need to clarify them, you need to satisfy them. Then only they will give you the rights so that you will get a patent. So another challenge in this is that if someone opposes, patent should not be granted. You know the process of patenting, once you file an application, government publish that information by in one of their gazettes, Indian Patent Office Journal. By that, the entire world will come to know someone has invented this, So once it is published in the Indian Patent Journal, the entire world knows about that invention and people can oppose. Patent should not be granted to this because I am already having this knowledge. I know this technology. I know this, whatever the inventor is claiming, the people can, anyone interested in that invention can always lodge a complaint or give a representation to the patent office to ask them not to grant a patent. You have to prove all that, allegations, whatever claims you have in your hand, to prove that it is not a new knowledge against the three criteria. If you prove it, patent also will not be granted. If the controller of the patent examiner satisfies whatever you are saying, he will stop granting patent. If he is not satisfied, he will allow further examination and grants the patent. Coming to the viral part of the university system, why R&D and inventions or innovations, technology transfer are all very important for us. In the past, maybe a decade ago also, if you see, a major mandate of the universities is to education. That means producing graduates, producing graduates at the end of the course, but not much preference or thrust on research and knowledge generation and dissemination. But if you see today that the scenario or there is a paradigm shift from the policy of education institutions, to every institute has to survive on its own. So resource mobilization has become one of the key parameter in assessing, the institutional universities capabilities. So resource mobilization means if you want to manage a university, you need, lot of money. For example, Andhra University, we are all students, how much money Andhra University is spending, we are spending annually 500 crores. So this 500 crores, who gives to the university? Of course, it is a state university, government is spending that much amount on all of us to have all these facilities, classrooms, hostels, teaching faculty and their salaries. So all these resources are required. But now what governments are saying, you are already 100 years old institute. You need to mobilize your own resources by producing new knowledge, transferring that knowledge to industry and getting money out of industry so that you not depend on the public money. The resource mobilization has become one of the major what I would say is a parameter in assessing the performance and the quality of the education institute. Institutions who are earning more money, that shows that they are their faculty are good, their research scholars are good, their team is good, their management is good, because whatever knowledge they are creating, whatever services they are offering, they are able to mobilize resources for the institution. The other important aspect is that you have to create more intellectual property. Universities have to come out with more innovations, more technologies, more solutions what the society is facing, So, and protect that knowledge and license that knowledge to industry, So industry pay for it. So the process of taking knowledge from the academic institutes to industry, what we call as a technology transfer or a technology commercialization. So we need to have more focus on IP generation, and IP protection and IP commercialization is another new paradigm shift compared to the olden days. Another important parameter is that collaboration with industry. Olden days, not much, this kind of internships and industry academic collaborations. Today, every institute has to collaborate with industry so that the students, are exposed to the latest technologies, and the industry also sponsors research by way the universities can earn resources or mobilize resources, and so that they will be self-sufficient, they will be self-sustainable. So for that, what is important? Collaboration with industry is at most important in the current generation. Of course, another important parameter is entrepreneurship. Every student, in my opinion, the universities will sustain only when the students pass it out, comes with a job offer in their hands, or they should have a brilliant startup idea so that they can start their own ventures. That's what we call entrepreneurship, or a startup idea or a startup project. You should have that kind of a um, skill sets in you, so that whatever you have learned, whatever research you have done as a part of your BTech or MTech or MSc or MA or, or MBA, you conceptualize some new ideas which are relevant, which can solve the problems of the society, and you can start a business on that. That is what is called entrepreneurship. So this is the very transforming, policy initiatives of all the universities or the higher education institutions are that all the students, by the time they graduate out, they should come out with any one of these outcomes. One, either they should have a job offer in their hands, or they should become a startup promoter, or they should create a startup company. They should become entrepreneurs. So these are the major outcomes the institutions have to deliver, have to comply, so that the institutions will survive. The students, the graduates who are coming out, will be having a direct contribution for the socio-economic development. If you don't have a job, you cannot survive, you cannot support your family. Or if you have such kind of a brilliant idea, governments, both state and central governments, also supporting, all these new ideas to encourage, students to become entrepreneurs. We all know India now emerged as a third largest ecosystem in the world in terms of startups, because government is giving encouragement to students, youth, to become entrepreneurs. This has also been very much reflected in our new education policy 2020. By now, over the last 1 year, this new education policy is being implemented across the country, and Andhra Pradesh is a leading state, rather the first state in the country which has adopted the implementation of new education policy. You all know what do you mean by new education policy. There are a lot of reforms have been brought in the education sector. As a part of the new education policy, the industry internships is a mandatory now, and all of you are undergoing these internships and skills upgradation. In fact, the IP course has been introduced as a skill development course, as it has got a huge demand in our economy, not only in India, even across the globe. So these are some of the measures to say our institutions are successful or not. One is that we should be able to generate more knowledge in our universities by undertaking a innovative research. And whatever research we undertake, it should try to solve the problems of the society. And once you develop a solution to solve that problem, you need to transfer that knowledge to industry, startup companies, so that people will produce that, the product or service, and benefit the society. And of course, as a result of this, you get social and economic benefits, and development takes place. So technology development, or IP generation, IP protection, IP commercialization has got enormous implications, for the socio-economic development of any nation. So what is IP innovation management cycle? We all should know where IP generation starts, where it ends, and what is its cycle. Actually, as I told you, there are 3 phases in the IP management, or IP life cycle. What is that IP life cycle? There are 3 stages, as I told you. IP creation. So when you do research, when you develop a new technology, new product, or a new service based on the invention, that is what we call IP generation. You have generated the IP, which was not existing up to that point. That is what we call IP generation. Next stage in the management is that IP protection. If you generate a new knowledge, if you don't protect it, no use. Anyone can use it. You will not get the benefit of the knowledge what you have created. If you want to get the benefit of the knowledge what you have created, what is required is you need to protect that knowledge by filing an application before the Indian Patent Office, which is managed by Government of India, saying that this is the invention I developed. By utilizing this knowledge, the society or the industry or the common man gets the following benefits. So far, no one has done this. I am the first person to come out with that kind of a technology solution. So I need my knowledge to be protected. Rights of that knowledge to use should be given to me only. So there is a process, is a legal process, commercial process, technical process. All these things are involved in that. So the government examines whatever disclosure you have made about your invention to the government, the Indian Patent Office evaluates against the set criteria of novelty, inventive step, and industrial use. So if they satisfy, they will grant you the patent. Once it is granted, you also need to maintain that patent for a period of 20 years, because once patent is granted by the government, what do you mean by the patent grant or the rights? Patent rights means, what do you mean? What is the benefit you will get? It is also important for you all to understand why one should go for a patent. If you go for a patent and government examined and government granted a patent, means what do you mean by it? That means you are the owner of that new knowledge, that new technology, what you have created for a period of 20 years. 20 years, you get absolute ownership on that knowledge what you have created. So what does it mean? Absolute ownership or monopoly right on that knowledge. That means no one will be able to use your knowledge without your permission. That is an enormous power. You have created some kind of a technology. For example, the 5G technology. You have invented, you have developed, and you have optimized, and you found it use. So what is the meaning of patent granted to you on the 5G technology? So the meaning of which means no one will be able to use 5G technology without your permission. If somebody wanted to use the technology, what they should do? They should take license from you. So that is in terms of, that is nothing but a permission you give. Only someone pays the fees for utilizing your knowledge, and also they should pay royalty to you on using that knowledge. Then only you give permission. So this process, what we call is a technology transfer, or a technology commercialization, or technology monetization. So having got that right from the government, it created a enormous business opportunities to you and others to use that knowledge and make that product or service and bring to the market or to the society, so that every one of us will get the benefit out of the technology. So that is what technology commercialization. So the same thing has been explained in this diagram. So if you want to invent something new, or if you wanted to solve a problem which is facing the society, or you want to develop a solution, what you are supposed to do? First, you identify the problem. That is what we call a problem statement. What is the problem you are facing? You should have a clear problem statement. For example, you all have registered, I think more than 800 students, I think including your 1200 students have registered for this course. But I do not know how many of you really listening to my class. This is I don't have a proper mechanism to say how many of the 1200 students are really attending this class. This is my problem. I don't have a solution for that. You are all sending a attendance sheet at the end of the class, or just before closing the class. So all your CRs are sharing that attendance sheet with you. And though you have not attended the class, you are putting your name there. We don't have a mechanism to check and remove those names. We have not attended this class. That is a practical problem for me now. So that is the problem statement. How do I ascertain the overall the people putting their names in the attendance sheet have really attended that class or not? I don't have a solution for that. That is a problem for me. So some of you, say for example, have come out with a solution. So this is the technology, the image processing technology, or some logical reasoning, or some kind of a solution you have developed, which can give you at least 90-95% accuracy, develop some kind of a, most likely I think, image processing and face recognitions, something like that. If you people develop, unless they are on the screen, say for example, for more than 30 minutes, their attendance will not be registered in the attendance register sheet. If you develop some kind of a logic and link with the attendance sheet, that should not allow to put your name unless you are really present in the class. So that is a problem we have defined, and you did a research, and you developed a solution for that. You have proved that in a small laboratory scale or a pilot scale, you proved that that solution has worked for this problem. No, if you are satisfied, yes, it is working, and you have proved it in a small scale, say for example, 100 people, 200 people in the class, and you have proved that your logic, your methodology, your process, your software, your hardware integration, all these things work, and it is uh, people who are not attending the class, they cannot put their registration sheet filled. That is the solution you have developed. So you have proved that also. Once you have convinced, that is the time you should file a patent application. That is what we call invention disclosure. You need to disclose that your invention, yes, this is the system, this is the hardware, this is the software I've used, this is the imaging processes I've used. I've integrated all of them to really, on real time basis, I can find out who are all the people attending this class. So you have disclosed that in a disclosed form to your IP office, like ours, what we have in Andhra University. Our Center for Intellectual Property Rights is also helping the university in filing the inventions, the patents, So you have to disclose. Suppose if you are a student, you came out with a solution, you can come to us and tell us, sir, this is the invention I have invented. This is the technology I have developed. Can I get patent rights, or can I get protection on my knowledge? Can you help me how to do it? There is a form which you need to disclose all your invention, saying that what is the technology, what are the benefits, what components you have to clearly describe the entire process, in that form, and give it to us. We do the assessment. As I told you, if you want to file a patent, if you want to get a patent, what is to be done? It should fulfill the criteria. No one should have done this work in the past. This knowledge should not be available in any public domain or any public platforms. Nobody should know basically the knowledge what you have created, then only you will get patent. So we do this assessment of novelty, inventive step, and industrial application. Whether these three parameters are fulfilling from your invention or not, we use all these databases, to see whether such kind of data is already, or technology is already published, presented, or patented. Whether any research paper has been published on similar technology. If any of these things are there already, you will not get a patent. But remember, you need to bring out the real fine element of that invention. What is the difference between the existing invention and your invention? If you are able to differentiate, if you are able to show it to us, this is the existing invention, my invention is different from the existing knowledge, then you will get a patent. This you are eligible to apply for a patent. If you are able to bring that difference clearly, compared to the existing knowledge, my knowledge is different, my knowledge is better, my knowledge is inventive. Inventive in the sense, for example, someone has developed a technology which is already there in the public domain. Say, for example, production of a paracetamol tablet. The production of a paracetamol compound or a formulation which has got, say, for example, 5 steps, A plus B plus C plus D gives rise to paracetamol. But if in your process you invented a process which has got only 3 steps instead of 5 steps, definitely it is not there in the public domain. Nobody, as of now, everybody uses only 5-step process to make paracetamol. If you came out with a 3-step process, you will your process is a new and it has got an inventive step. So you will be eligible for filing a patent application. The examiner will examine, and if you satisfy all other parameters, you may consider and grant a patent to you. No? So that is what we do, all this assessment before filing a patent application. So just to make sure that whatever application is submitted, you will get a patent. That is the purpose, of this assessment, and the IP cells will generally do that. So if without doing that, if you submit your patent application, what happens? Without any knowledge, they will simply reject, because the prior knowledge is there and inventory step is not there. There is no industrial application. Any one of the parameters is not fulfilling, you will not get a patent. So that is the purpose of this IPR cells or technology transfer offices. They help you to assess this and guide you in filing your patent application. Once it is fulfilling this criteria, you have to file this application in the patent office. The patent office, there is a process, by now most of you might be aware the process of filing a patent application. So what is the process? There are several forms you need to fill: form 1, form 2, form 3, 5, and form 26. There are a set of forms you need to file with all your information, saying that we are the original inventors and this is our patent application, this is the process, these are the benefits by using our patented technology, our process. You need to give a description of your entire invention. So with all these applications, by paying the requisite fee, you need to file the patent application in the Indian Patent Office. The patent office will examine, and if anyone opposes or if it's not fulfilling the criteria of patentability, and there are several other conditions, which has to fulfill. The government can refuse to grant also your patent under several sections of the Indian Patent Act. Also restricts, for granting patent. For example, if it is a subject matter of section 3 and section 4, if it falls in that, one will not get a patent. You should also know that what is patentable, what is not patentable. Everything under the sun, cannot be patented. Only certain inventions only can be patented. You should know all those things. And the patent agents or the patent cells and the faculty of the patent cells are familiar with those things. They will guide you and they will file the application with the Indian Patent Office. And if it fulfills, the criteria, assessment criteria, over a period of time, maybe 2 years or 3 years, it may take even 5 years also in some cases. Within that period, the patent would be granted. Once it is granted, it is valid for 20 years. 20 years, you are the owner. Once you are the owner, you can do whatever you want. Means either you produce that product and sell it in the market, because there is no monopoly. You have got a monopolistic rights. There will not be any competition for you. Or you can license it to others, or you form a joint venture with some of other investors. If you have got a patent, people may come and invest on you because it has got a huge demand for the product or a service. So there are so many business opportunities emerge if you have got a patent on your name. And also it is a pride for the students, the faculty, or the research scholars, the individual who got patent granted. This knowledge you have created for the first time in the world, and you got a patent rights on that. So what more satisfaction you will get than recognized as a patent holder. Getting a patent is not that easy because it is a global level evaluation process, assessment process. So once patent is granted, or even once you file the patent application, then you can commercialization. Next is commercialization or exploitation. You can market your patented knowledge to various entrepreneurs, startup companies, big companies in India and abroad. So for giving a license to them, you may not be interested, you may not be having a money to utilize your patented knowledge to establish a company. If you want to utilize your patented knowledge to produce that product or a service, what is required? You require huge resources, you require manpower, you need so many other things to establish a company. If you do not have that kind of an expertise, skills, or passion, always you can out-license your knowledge, your technology to the other interested entrepreneurs. That is what, to do that you have to market your new technology, new product among the interested stakeholders like startup companies, big companies, existing companies in India or abroad. So people who are like most of the technologies which are established by all these MSMEs, most of them they got license from the original inventors of those technologies. So that is how they come to know about your technology, and people who are interested to do business, to establish a plant or a manufacture that or produce that and sell it, they will reach out to you once you start marketing about your patent. In Andhra University also we have now we have about more than 50 60 patents applied in Indian Patent Office by our faculty and our researchers. We also started marketing these patents. So recently, one of our patent, some startup company shown interest, is called a portable uh, portable biosensor for detecting glucose or sugar in our blood at a very low concentrations. The current technologies can detect sugar in the blood only after certain concentration in the blood. But the technology which one of our biochemistry faculty invented, this technology can detect even ppb level, very low levels of force. So by doing that, you can uh, diagnose, the sugar. You are likely to get a sugar soon, if you are able to detect in a very early stage. The current technologies, they can detect only in a higher concentrations, but whereas this sensor, portable nano sensor, what our faculty member has invented, can detect the sugar level in much lower concentration. So when this sugar level will be low in anybody's body is the initial stage, and as the age and as the uh, disease prognosis increases, the concentration of the glucose increases in the blood. So instead of that, if you are able to detect it very early at low concentrations, you can take a better treatment, you can have a better control. So this is the innovative step. There is no prior art exists, which can detect the sensor. What she has invented was that it can detect sugar at a very low concentrations. That low concentrations will be there in the beginning of the disease, before the disease manifests into a full blown sugar. That is the time most of these technologies can detect, but this our technology can detect at a very early stage, very low concentrations. That is our innovative step. That is why we have applied for a patent. It is in the process of examination. Most likely we will get the patent, but we have filed our application and it was published. So our job is over. The patent office takes its own time by following all the steps of granting a patent. It may take maybe 2 to 3 years, but our job is over. So we started marketing it, and we got a company, one company, startup company from Visakhapatnam. They have shown interest. We have discussed our licensing conditions, saying that what is the fees they should pay to us, what is the royalty they should pay to us, how many years they can use our technology, that is the licensing period, where they can manufacture this. They can manufacture anywhere in India or only in Visakhapatnam. No, these are all the different conditions. Suppose in case if they don't commercialize within the given time, what are the chances of licensing this technology to another party, whether it is exclusive license or non-exclusive license. All these things have to be negotiated. Once we agree mutually how much fee they should pay, how much royalty they should pay, what is the period of licensing, what is the geographical area where they produce and sell, whether it is exclusive license or non-exclusive license. Exclusive license means we give this license to only one party, one company. But whereas non-exclusive license means we give it to more than one party. So all these things, are the parameters. We discuss, negotiate, and agree. Then we sign a licensing agreement. This is also very, very important part in the entire IP management. Now, you should understand, write a paragraph or what is IP management means. It starts from a research to develop a product and assessment and filing intellectual property rights application. Then the process of granting taken by the Indian Patent Office, maybe 2 to 3 years. Once that is done, we have to transfer this knowledge to industry so that industry will produce and bring it to the market. In case if you are not able to or interested to manufacture and sell. So when you license it, these are all the processes. What is the licensing processes? You need to market, and if some party or more than one party show interest, discuss with them all these terms and conditions of licensing. Once we satisfy, then enter into a licensing agreement. That licensing agreement is a legal document between the two parties. If anyone violates the terms and conditions, the license can be cancelled, and there could be penalties for that. All these things have to be discussed in the licensing agreement. Once you license it, sign the licensing agreement, the process starts the knowledge transfer. First is whatever technology you have invented, that needs to be transferred. That knowledge to be transferred to the buyer or the company which shown interest in your technology to produce commercially the tech product or the service and sell it in the market. So how do you transfer that knowledge? This is also very, very important. How do you transfer the knowledge? By way of giving a report describing the entire process of manufacturing. How do you check the quality? How do you control the quality? How do you check the raw materials? How do you check the impurities? All these things have to be described fully in the report. That's what we call a know-how package, process know-how package. It's nothing but a technology package in which each and every detail of the technology has been described. Apart from that, we also need to give a demonstration and training on that process. How to produce that product, how to test that product, how to validate that product, how to assess the purity of the product. All these things you need to arrange a demonstration in your laboratory where you have produced this product, and train them how to produce in the laboratory scale. So that is the most important thing in transferring of this knowledge of your technology. Simply if you give it in writing, they may not be able to absorb that knowledge fully. So to absorb that knowledge, one has to give demonstration and training to the party or the company who has shown interest or who has signed an agreement, with you to take this technology. So he has understood the technology. Then what he has to do? He has to set up a commercial plant. What you have transferred, the technology, the knowledge is in a laboratory scale technology, because you are being a researcher, you are being a university, you will not be having a big commercial plant, to demonstrate, to train. What you have trained and what you have demonstrated, the technology is in the small laboratory scale. So if you want to establish a commercial plant, say for example, in the laboratory, you might have demonstrated the technology, provided a training to produce, say for example, 100 paracetamol tablets using your new process of 3 steps rather than 5 steps. So if you want to establish a commercial plant, you need to scale up. This is the important terminology you need to remember. If you want to establish a commercial plant based on the laboratory scale, what you need to do? You need to scale up the process. So whatever scale up means, you have to increase the capacity of the reactor, the raw materials, the energy, all the ingredients. What you, for example, unless you produce a million tablets, per day, the commercial plant may not be viable. What you produce is a 50 tablets is not a commercially viable process. The scale uh, has to be there if you want to make profits, because the capital cost, the fixed cost will be minimized or distributed over large number of items what you produce. As a result, the cost of production comes down. No, so that is why the scale is important. You need to scale up the process to produce a commercial scale production. So for that you need to buy big reactors, big, all that depending upon the capacity. You need to design the plant, commercial plant, and establish it and get the regulatory approvals. If you want to bring any product, particularly pharmaceutical products, you need to get the government approval, regulatory approval. That will be given only to the entrepreneurs or the companies who are willing to establish the commercial plants. That regulatory approval is not given to the inventors, the scientists who developed this technology. That regulatory approval is given only to the companies who is going to produce this product at a commercial scale. So you need to apply for the regulatory approval, permissions, and establish the commercial plant, produce that product, bring it to the market. Once you bring it to the market, public will buy and consume them. So when you bring that product to market, and you get a money out of that, when you earn money out of your product, now what happens? Say for example, you produced a million tablets or a billion tablets and you sold it in the market. You made a money, say for example 10 crores out of your thing. So here when you sign a licensing agreement, generally there will be a condition called royalty payment to the inventors. From whoever have developed this technology, they get a royalty as long as they produce and sell this product in the market. So that royalties also have to be negotiated and should be made part of the licensing agreement or a technology transfer agreement. So that royalties have to be collected from the companies who are going to produce this product. Based on your know-how, based on your technology, they have to pay the royalty to the inventors. For example, Maruti cars, in our country, we are producing based on a Japanese technology. So there also they put a kind of a royalty, 3% to 5% of the car value goes to the Suzuki company, which owns the IP for producing these cars, Maruti cars in our country. Similarly, so for example, if you see the mobiles what we are using, or any for that matter, any product, a refrigerator or a washing machine or anything, whatever we are buying and using, so part of the money, goes to the inventors whose technologies have been embedded into that product. For example, if you look at the smartphone or the iPhones, there are more than 100 technologies are embedded in that smartphone. So once you bought a phone for, say for example 60,000 rupees, at least 10 or 6,000 to 7,000 rupees, they embed in the cost as a royalties to be paid back, to the inventors of all the technologies whose technologies were embedded, used in the mobile phone. So for example, this iPhone, Apple, sold this phone for 60,000 rupees. 6,000 rupees goes to various inventors, of the technology as a royalty. For example, there is a camera, there is a screen, there is a processor, there is a software, all these are all, each one is a technology by itself. So what Apple does is they bought technologies from all these people. They got licenses, from all these IP owners, and they integrated into their phone and they sold out this product. And when they sell this product, they also pay royalty to all these people who have contributed, uh, by granting licenses to manufacture of this iPhone. So that is what royalty. So huge benefit, royalties for the inventors. One example, my fascinating example, the Coca-Cola can, when you open the can, there will be a small lid, that flap. If you lift it, it cuts and the contents in the can comes out. One gentleman from UK, he invented that technique and he got a patent on it. And he licensed that technology or the patent to Coca-Cola and all other soft drinks, So he gets almost every day 1 crore, as a royalty from that all the software companies, particularly for Coca-Cola alone, he was getting 1 crore rupees as a royalties. Such a simple invention has met all the criteria of novelty, inventive step, industrial use, and he got a patent, and he got the rights on that, and he started licensing that to all these companies, and is earning, crores of rupees simply sitting at home. He is not manufacturing, he is not selling that, but he has given his rights, to Coca-Cola and other companies, and he is making tons of money out of his invention. That is the power of the brain, that is the power of the intellectual property. So think in those directions, think differently, think creatively, come out, observe the society, observe the surroundings around you, and come out with the solutions like that, and make money, and contribute for the socio-economic development. So the cycle completes, starts from a research, invention, assessment, intellectual property protection, then marketing to find a licensee, select the licensee, licensing agreements, then commercialization, royalties, and research. So every research what we undertake, should lead to creation of royalties. Then only that research is a productive research, useful research, industry-driven research. Without realizing, without getting any benefit out of research, if you do that kind of a blue sky research, what we call, it is of no use. But research is the mother for innovation. You have to do, understand, identifying a right problem and try to find out a solution which is useful to the society. That is how societies evolved, from stone age to the current age. How we have evolved is because of research and development. So it is a wonderful career opportunity for all of you to go into research line. You are able to exercise your free will, your knowledge, your entire time you can spend productively, if you choose research as a career, and if you come out with the IP creation, you are a different individual, with that kind of a IPs on your name and recognition, credit you get, So this is all about IP management, the life cycle. And because of the time, I would like to stop it over here. I hope all of you get some fair amount of idea. What do you mean by IP management? As I told you, IP has got 3 phases: IP creation, IP protection, and IP commercialization. So whatever you do, what is the ultimate aim of IP? To create wealth, to create employment opportunities. If you want to create wealth, employment opportunities, and society should get benefit, the strategies what we use, the procedures, the planning, the scheduling, the resources, the controlling, the motivation of all the members, as we discussed about the definition of management, it is nothing but IP management. So whatever we are all doing in our day-to-day life, is nothing but a management with reference to that. That is why the management is such a powerful word. If it is applied to information technology, IT management, information technology management, if we apply to finance, financial management, market management, marketing management, if you apply to innovation, innovation management, if you apply to IP, it becomes a IP management. So I would like to stop it over here, and if you have got any specific questions, I will be very happy to answer. So I always insist upon all of you that every one of you should try to raise at least one question in the class. That shows that you are serious, you are creative, and you are attentive, and that is a respect, you are paying to your teacher by asking a question. That is how a teacher gets happy when a student asks question and he clarifies his doubt. So that is the tribute you should pay to your teachers, not only to me, to any teacher. If he gives an opportunity, you should ask questions and enrich your knowledge. Any questions? Please let me know. If there are no questions, we'll stop it over here, and We'll be having 3 more classes. With that, the course would be complete. And if you have got any doubts, you please visit us. We are sitting in Andhra University South Campus, the AU New Computer Center by the side of Controller of Examination Office. So you can come to us, spend some time with us, get clarifications. We are all available all the time. Any doubts? This only bothers me. You people don't ask any questions. See, questioning is such an important aspect, that will connect you to the surroundings. By chance, tomorrow, if you become an MLA or MP, you will be recognized, the way you ask questions in the floor of the house about the problems the community is facing. So develop that attitude of questioning sincerely, with an interest, know and understand the issues more clearly. Okay, then we will stop it over here if there are no questions. It's already 5 o'clock. Okay, have a great day and all the best. Thank you. Any questions? Oh. Namaskaram, sir. Hello. Namaskaram, sir. Chappan, sir.